let's see. We'll get into Monday's footage. I think another very active day of rolling on a no-gi night. And I totally forgot to put in the super sweet smooth transitions. What's going on, Steven? So we're gonna get abrupt footage like your dad was recording it, and just
boom,
one thing after another.
Next scene.
Yeah. So this was, I was super stoked when I saw these two going at it.
Yeah.
And hold on, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna leave this regular speed for this match at least. And I yelled at them to make sure that they were staying on camera because I didn't want to miss any of it. It's like a good little trip from Matt there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better be, man. What's been the holdup? Don't tell me work or COVID or family or money or any of the usual excuses.
Yeah,
what's
those
going
are
on,
all
James?
mine.
Yeah. Mitch working a 2-on-1. Going first.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Nice.
That was sick.
That was sick.
Catch it. I mean, at this point, don't need to break that down too much. We've seen Mitch do that a lot, but I really like how he followed through on it, right? Like, even like after the turn, Matt's still standing, right? But Mitch has such a bite on the shoulder that he starts driving through, Mitch drops his own shoulder, and strongly encourages Matt to continue through. The beach. Okay, that's a fair excuse. I'd rather be there. We got Blonde Cole going against Steven, James and Brandon, and I'm not sure who's in the middle. Duncan and Camden.
Cole looks like Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Yeah, at one point in his career. Looks like a little knee to the face. So Matt's playing from not even really a half guard. Just a loose open guard from one hip. Catches Mitch in a trap triangle here.
And he's working on the arm. You see that? He's very focused on the arm right now. Mitch is going to stack. And if Matt can cut the angle underneath him, which Mitch is cutting for him now. Yeah. So Mitch, you'd have to, number one, either tuck, not either or, right? But a couple of ways to shore this up, right? Is your right arm, you can't let him control that. See how he's really digging for that, your right arm. And you would need to start hugging his hip and actually turning basically so that you're coming out your left side, not to the right. Sometimes I grab the knee, like on the left-hand side there, and then try and drive it down so that I can force that angle. But you cannot allow him to get onto that side. If his head starts getting over towards the strangle side of that choke, then it gets tighter and tighter and tighter.
Yeah. And yeah, Mitch, to your credit, I saw you trying to work the over-under pass before all this.
Yeah.
In fact, you had switched. You briefly, you had like this, even before the little bump of the knee, kind of had that like leg weave. He was keeping his knee really low, which makes it difficult to scoop low enough and get the leg up on your shoulder to hit the over-under pass. But yeah, going forward there, diving the head in. And that's the thing. I think if you had let's see, we dive in on it right here. Of course, I missed it. If you had the bottom leg of his pinned a bit better, you may have been able to avoid that triangle, right? Because he gets the leg up over the shoulder here, and then because your hips are on the inside position of his left leg, right? He's able to get it up into that trap triangle position, and secure the bag.
The over-under, I know we've talked about this in previous streams. The over-under is not my, it's not in my serious wheelhouse for passes, but I feel like I would be putting my head on the right hip in that case, not on the left. So like as soon as I go for that over-under, right, in that orientation, Mitch would have to dig hard with his right arm under the hip, under Matt's left hip, and he would have to position his head to that overhook side, not to the underhook side.
Mm-hmm.
And then continue the pass that way. So I'd like to drill that actually in class to figure out if that's the right thing. But my instincts are telling me I need to dive hard to the right while hooking over top of that leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something we should work on.
That's like a Bernardo pass, right? He's the over-under guy.
Yeah. We had Brandon putting on some good pressure on James there.
Yeah.
But you could see he got a little overextended and James was ready for it. Just pushed him over and rolled up. Super glad to see Brandon back on the mats this week, even with his ankle all braced up. Cole's doing his damnedest to finish a straight arm lock on Steven right now. Man, so let's look at Cole and Steven real quick. So the arm lock fails, right? But look how Steven has posted up on the shoulder or on the elbow.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time to switch to a triangle, right? And Cole's in a good posture to do it, right? If his left leg is planted, which it almost is, and his right hand is planted, that's all he needs to be able to make his right leg very light, very nimble. He could pull his knee out, like up towards his nose, and then throw it over Steven's left shoulder and fall into a triangle position on the back. So something to look for next time you're rolling, Cole. Mitch working the standing guard break.
Nice.
Except too extended there. I want to see when you go to stand up, I'd like to see your head directly over Matt's head. Taking that elbow in.
Who's in the very back again in the middle? I can't tell.
That is Duncan and Camden, I think.
Okay.
It's Camden and somebody. Yeah, it's Duncan.
Okay. Duncan's going for the Katagatame, but he didn't get the head underneath Cam's right arm.
Yeah.
Cam's doing very good at keeping that elbow tucked. Good awareness. Oh, and slips out to try and take the back.
Yeah, damn. Almost had that. So with James and
yeah, how did he get? Oh, okay, all right. So
kind of a mutual front headlock here, but Brandon's definitely on the bottom position. And look at how James controlled. He controls Brandon's left arm here, preventing him from like reaching up to block the go behind.
Yep. Or even getting up to his elbow, even, really,
Yeah.
like slowing that part down.
Yep. And then immediately tried to jump on the strangle, which is good.
That is good.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Okay, it looks like he's starting to establish his hooks here. And this was after I taught in fundamentals, basically from turtle breakdown through rear naked strangle finish mechanics. So I went from the breakdown to the leg positions that you can use, gave everybody a good goal for the hand fight, and then once you win that hand fight battle, how to finish the strangle. So if I see anybody doing that, I'll be extra super happy. And maybe I'll go a little easier on you next time in class.
What happened with Mitch and Matt? I missed that. Was that a reset or?
Yeah, they just relocated.
Okay.
And Brandon, for future reference, this position totally sucks, but you want to turn your face towards him to give yourself some room to breathe and room for your blood to still get to your brain. Turning away from him is going to open your neck up and give him the strangle. So it sucks, especially like when Lou catches you in it and he knows that you're going to turn into him, so he just drives his lat across the bridge of your nose. Like, I've had my nose hey man, it happens sometimes purposefully. Yeah, like it can suck. Your nose can get kind of smashed in, but it's better than getting strangled, in my opinion.
I like that Brandon went for that counter, like for basically the rear, or the north-south choke, like from the bottom side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that, but he's
right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. So it's good. At least it threatened. It may have made James think about trying to finish.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like to see the counter, like the counter attack.
Yeah, and it's just good to see the awareness there. Like, you're under duress. Like, that's a really bad spot to be, just being smothered like that. So if you're hitting counters, or if you're thinking about hitting counters, that tells me that you're staying composed, which is crucial, And Matt I couldn't tell if that was like a straight arm. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, he attacked that arm.
Okay.
Really hard. Yeah.
Did stop you from hunting. Cool. So yeah, there you go, James. Or Brandon. Just feedback from James that it did impact his strategy against you. You guys like that?
Mats.
Huh?
I was just saying, pack mats, like literally, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches.
So I missed what Danny and Joe did here. Looks like Joe got a little off balance on that.
He tried to slip and go down for a single leg, I think, and then Danny just stayed super heavy on the head.
Yeah. Man, so much going on. Let's see, James and Cole.
James has established a half guard. His neck is in trouble a little bit there. But he's got, now Cole is going really high up on the head. His weight is super high up.
Yeah.
And James astutely just walks right around and gets back onto top position.
Really good.
Yeah, solid.
There's Austin putting to work some of the stuff that we went over working the leg trap. I also taught in advanced getting out of the body triangle from both sides, where the lock's on top or on bottom. But Austin wasn't there for that, so he didn't know what I was doing. Look at Joe and Danny here. Let's see what happened.
Nice.
Slick. Really slick.
Nice reversal. That was very good. So Matt, you pinned with your left arm. Yeah. Now you hooked the leg, but I feel like the pinning of the is what allows you to reach over with your right and start working on the top side.
Yeah. Right? So what I was doing here and what we went over was getting my top leg behind the locking leg of the body triangle, and this cool little detail we saw in one of Gordon's releases was hooking under the knee with your elbow, and you only do this when like you are confident that you've won the hand fight at this point, like your neck is safe, is what I mean. So when you hook under there, it allows you to turn a little bit to help your top leg get behind his top leg, right? So you can see now my knee is on the outside position where I can now feed it across after a little fight. Feed it across and try to get either my bottom knee behind it, or if it's within reach, I can grip ideally down here by the ankle, not high up on the shin like I'm doing right now. Let's see if I manage to get there. Either way, I've gotten rid of the body triangle at this point, and he's back to working hooks, so it looks like I'm trying to step on the leg. He's getting his leg up high.
Danaher talks about the three phases of the body triangle, and he talks about like if you use the example that Austin had previously. All right, well, you can use the example he has now, right? So now he has a bottom side triangle. Yeah. Body triangle.
Let's find it again. My bad.
Here, right? So this is the strongest of the three positions, but we'll just start at this as being number one. Number two would be if Matt could pass Austin's now bottom leg in between Matt's legs, right? Like in between Matt's legs, that's phase two. And then phase three, which is the weakest of the triangles, which would be when the bottom or that locked portion of the legs is on the opposite hip. Yeah. So ultimately the goal, if you think about it, the goal is to phase, ultimately it's to get it to the opposite side, right? The lock, that the top locked leg needs to be on the opposite side of Matt's body right now. And you can go through it in phases, or you can do it all at once. But that's the ultimate goal of trying to get rid of that bottom or that body triangle.
Yeah. So this was the second technique I went over. When the lock is on the bottom, you don't really realize it. I never realized it until recently. There's a fair bit of space between the back of his top knee here and my hip.
Yeah.
Which allows me to turn towards him, right? So I'm turning so that my chest is pointing up. I'm going as far as I can. And then once I've reached as far as I can with just trying to turn my body, you'll see me pull my legs up, my feet up off the mat, and then do a quick hip switch using like the momentum of my legs twisting to take myself even further, spinning in the same direction. So legs up, big hip switch. That was garbage, but it got it there. Yeah. Ideally, my legs would have kind of like swapped position. Let's go back to Danny and Joe here. It looked like they were having a real active round. Joe looking for that armbar. And Danny's doing... So, It's not. It's not really. Never mind. I was gonna say it was similar to what Mitch and Matt were doing, but Danny's head was on the outside there. But he was doing a good job pinning Joe's bottom leg, keeping his knees pointed away, slowly working his way around for the pass. Joe does that stuff to me too, where he'll hold on to my head longer than I think he should, but then he ends up putting me on my back anyway. So it ends up working in his favor, at least until I take his back. Which looked like Danny almost did there. He almost slipped it out.
Yeah, but Joe's very much aware of the threat and is proactively trying to get on top.
Yeah. All right. Shift focus to James and Cole.
Okay.
See what's going on with them. So James is.
I don't know where.
Go ahead.
No, never mind. I don't have anything. I was trying to figure out where James's right arm was, but it was around. It was hooking around Cole's body. Now it's in a very risky spot for James. Good spot for Cole.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? I interrupted.
It was right. So like right here, James was getting really heavy off to the right side. I was thinking about how Cole could use that if he pummeled his left leg back in to the inside position. He may have the makings of I don't know. I get like kind of a hook sweep Sumigashi sort of setup, but he doesn't have, with his underhook on this side, he doesn't have the ability to like stop James from basing out with his left arm. I would almost advise Cole to try to get his head to the same side as the underhook here and work from that double leg inside position, because he's got the overhook on the right arm. So it's with that over under, he could easily take him over if his legs and his head were in the right spot, you know.
And he's got a strong collar tie there and the overhook.
Yeah.
But James does. James has very good balance there, and I have a hard time taking him over. I have to play like big Kazushi in order to try and sweep him.
Yeah. James and I have a round coming up later, and like he just fully controlled me the whole time. I know. I think I said it to James, but just like, I think I've gotten back to rolling with just about everybody, and like it's been one thing to watch you guys like progress and sharpen your skills on the stream, and then like to get back on the mats with you and feel how much you guys have like just learned in, you know, the 2 or 3 months that I wasn't rolling was
Sucks,
really,
right?
really, really awesome. Like, yeah, it does suck. But yeah, just feeling how much you guys are more controlling and deliberate with your moves is brings a tear to my eye.
Can we go back a little bit and see how Joe got to Danny's back?
Gladly.
All right. So.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
Interesting. So, okay.
When Danny's arm passes over Joe's body here.
Yep.
Right there. Then it gives him the back.
Yep.
Right? And it's tough to have the wherewithal when you're all over the place like that, but that's really the thing that gave Joe your back, Danny.
That was quite a little tangle.
It was cool. Like, it was really neat to see. So I like how he's digging for the strangle. Danny's doing a good job keeping his hands in good fighting positions, strong position.
Man, good defense.
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, as best we could see, if you look at what happened there, Danny kept, number one, kept his neck safe, but slowly managed to misalign himself with Joe and start slipping his shoulders to the mat to the point where Joe knew he had lost the back and he had to come up on top. Or, you know, yeah, like Danny got his elbow right down between the two of them. And that's where it's going to be really difficult. His hips are starting to slide out to the side. Joe doesn't have a secure leg configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent time to try entering into a leg lock if you're Danny on that transition.
Yeah.
He was in big trouble till he hit.
So Joe, the thing that went wrong on that pass was that you did not get the underhook on when you tried the baseball slide, and that's how Danny was able to come up on you. So he starts the baseball slide here with an overhook, right? He's hugging the head
with the cross face,
right?
I think a lot of people like poo-poo on grapevines, but I know when Danny does them, they hurt.
Yeah, long ass legs.
And like his shins digging in.
Yeah.
Right here. I've definitely woken up with bruises down my shins from that. Cole's almost, well, I guess James
has the back.
James has a shoulder crunch on him. That's the only thing stopping him. Right? If Cole had the underhook, right?
Yeah.
It's good, man. I mean, that's the underhook from that position, Joe, is that's just kind of one of those golden rules, like we talk about. Don't cross your feet when you're on the back. You know, those things, those rules that later on you can break. Working from half guard, fight for that underhook. Top or bottom, you want to win that underhook battle. So keep looking for it. Recognize when you don't have it. Recognize when you do. That'll illuminate your options there. Let's go back to Danny's setup on this. I saw him
hiked it over.
Yeah, I saw him step up. And Danny's even hitting that a little bit lower. Like his hips are still like kind of low, right?
Yep.
Relative to how you try to hit it from like a high mount, you know. But he's got really, really good control of the head here, which pulls him up, I think, into that higher mount position. And now the big fight is getting Joe's left arm out of the triangle. Unless I guess he commits to keeping it in there, but it's probably like right here against his. Oh, he just pulled it out now. Joe, let me just say, man, I'm really, really happy to see you trying to work that. I know exactly what you were doing. You were trying to do the cross ankle escape over the chest. It looks like you were just explaining it. Takes a little composure, man, but that was good. That was the very beginning of looking for it, and that's what I want to see. been up with Mitch and Brandon? Anything? Look at Mitch going for a leg lock up top.
On Brandon's hurt ankle.
On the bad ankle.
Nice, Mitch. Very nice.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to him. Hell yeah. Bloodthirsty. Junkyard dog. Let's see. Takedown is kick me in the shin until I fall. Yeah, it is, and it works, and we'll see it later. It's called a foot sweep. It's not a kick. I just do it very aggressively. See, James and Cole are in an interesting spot. Cole was just pretty dominant from top position there for a while, so let's see what happened. James managing to work an elbow escape, it looks like. I'd like to see, well, yeah, I'd like to see you triangle your legs here around Cole's ankle. Like your top leg will kind of bite down on the ankle, and your bottom leg would be the control of the or like the locking leg of that triangle, and then that'll help you capture the knee, right, instead of Cole sliding up out of that.
And for Cole, I'd like to see him. Could you go back a little bit to where he was back on top with that shoulder crunch?
Yeah.
Right.
Back
so like I know, yeah, James has the shoulder crunch, right? So he's basically got his left arm around, like, really high up and over top of Cole's right shoulder. Cole should be able to pinch his knees together, you know, put his feet down by James's hips, sink down low, and then drive his weight way up onto James's shoulder. And the pressure that James would feel would be greater than what Cole feels. And what Gordon talks about with the shoulder crunch, and I know this to be true, is that as soon as the person who you're attacking the shoulder crunch on, if their head gets above your head laterally, like just in relation to, the shoulder crunch is gone. And it actually turns into the opposite. Like, you feel a tremendous amount of pressure on your shoulder, having tried to, you know, pull down all that weight, right?
Yeah. So
I'd like to see Cole pinching those knees together, finding the hips with his feet, and then driving up in order to alleviate that shoulder crunch that James had.
Yeah, and more to that point, it seems like if you're crunching down and they drive their head over you, it elevates your own arm to the point where, yeah, you no longer have the downward pressure
at all.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Joe with a little what's that, like a Tomonagi kind of style, except with the knees.
Yeah.
Like a double butterfly. And then Danny right to move my fat head out of the way. Whoops. That was good. That, you know, Danny rolled with it and then immediately attacked the leg.
Yep.
Solid. Took him down with it. Oh, I hit I hit a go-go on Austin here.
From top?
Yeah. I forgot about that. He was hiding his hand. And I was like, well, let's just try it. I slipped the shoelaces across his throat. Just pulled his head into my shin. James successful with the standing guard break.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see people doing that. Oh, and now he's got the triangle
bar
into the arm.
Oh, right at the bell.
Oh, nice.
Let's look at that real quick.
He just comes up, like, goes right over top. We talked about that last week with the mount, driving the knee all the way across the belly.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny because he's got the, like, normally from here you see guys go circle up around the head, not down over the body. But in doing it this way, so he's got, like, let's call it half of a mounted crucifix, right? I think Cole's right arm is between James's legs here. So that sets him up perfectly for, like, that 3/4 arm bar.
Yeah.
And then he cuts the angle around the arm that way. And now, yeah, he could have sat to a triangle. He opted for the arm bar. That was sick. Danny and Caleb.
And you and Duncan? Is it Duncan?
Steven.
Oh, okay.
Wearing a matching
I can't see.
ankle brace. Look at Danny trying to be fancy.
He's got the backside 50-50.
Steven trying the same on me.
Yeah.
It's funny, even when Steven's injured, he's a pain in the ass. I went for my foot sweep there, and I was like, I can't do it. Like, felt really bad. Even though it's totally not a kick.
That was nice.
There he goes, 4-point. Just drag him down. You see Danny down here? Look at what he does.
Muffler. Yep.
Like full face mask.
Yeah.
Gave him a COVID mask.
That's Matt's, like, go-to, that guillotine that he just got on Brandon.
He has a killer guillotine, man.
It's just straight from an escape, and then he hits it. It kind of like how you would go for a guillotine on a guard pass. He sets it up on the exact same way, except for he had already passed the guard here. And then when Brandon sits up into him to try and reverse the position or escape the position,
yep,
he hits the guillotine. Boom.
Yeah, and he hits him with the arm in.
Yeah. He's got long ass arms, dude. Like, and it's a tight guillotine, and he has good positioning. Like, I know, like, we go over this shit like in real detail, but if you go back, I mean, well, he'll probably hit it again. But I want you to pay attention to his shoulder position when he does the guillotine. Do you see how when he sets it up, how high up on Brandon's back his shoulder is? Like, his shoulder is like at the base of Brandon's neck.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't start it like with when we talk about a chin strap, like, he doesn't have the shoulder like on the top of the head. You know what I mean? Like, it's all the way down. So that way when he starts to pull the head in and tighten up the strangle, like, the head is like way down, very tight to the chest, and it just sinks the strangle in so much deeper that way.
Yeah. Guess this is a good time to shout out anybody in the chat who's stumbled upon us and is checking us out. If you guys like what you see, please follow us, or subscribe if you want. And yeah, ask any questions you may have about jiu-jitsu and all the weird stuff you're seeing us do to each other. And Matt hits another guillotine, and he's not even engaging his legs right now.
Yeah.
I missed that setup. Let's see.
It's the same setup. Exact same thing, opposite side. Left arm over.
Is it? It looks more like an anaconda, I think. Like, it looked like the point of, watch his left elbow right there.
Okay. Yeah,
right?
maybe he's got it.
Like maybe almost an anaconda instead. Either way, it's a front headlock. That sucks.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like a cuddle.
No, I imagine it did not. Good awareness by Joe, not letting Cole take his back. One of them was a Darce.
Just going through the full array of guillotine finishes or headlock finishes.
Danny going straight to trap the arm. Okay. Then Caleb.
Well, yeah, Caleb made a little bit of an error here. Like when someone is already working to the back like this, I think it's kind of inadvisable to grab the leg like that, right? Because you know, as soon as Danny leans over to his right side, one, your arm's trapped with a leg trap, and two, even worse, it's trapped with the bottom leg, which is so much harder to get back. If it ends perfectly, like if Danny was able to tuck his leg, you know, either under your hip or like very close to it, it's gonna be a long day trying to get that arm back. Fortunately for you, he looked like he left you a little bit of space.
So you got a trap triangle on Steven.
Yes.
Able to get into the mount. Okay, and he slips the triangle.
Yep.
So you're gonna try kipping.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Cole's doing a good job to isolate that, or trying to isolate that far side arm.
I really like what he's doing with his right leg.
Like
his right knee is almost touching his elbow, right? And he's folding it across Joe's body. And he's using his left leg as a post. He just relinquished it, but I really liked what he did there.
Yeah. He's got the arm isolated now. Well, he did. I don't know why he let it go.
He did. It's very different. Yeah, Joe, when he gets that over the head position, he's very good to reverse from there.
Yeah.
And there, Joe, that worked perfectly because you had that underhook. So just wanted to call that out. Like, after you turn that over, your left arm has the underhook. And so now when you start to knee cut around like that, there's no risk of getting your back taken.
Trying so hard to get a Katagatame on Steven. And he ends up slipping the elbow. What did Matt get there? Looks like a mounted triangle, maybe, or he slips around to an arm bar.
Arm.
Gotcha.
Joe tried for a mount there, and then Cole was able to get his knee in to get him back into almost a half guard position.
Steven, have you been having trouble bridging on that ankle? Just out of curiosity. What happened with Joe and Cole?
Joe goes for a mount here, and
Cole gets the knee
Cole gets that knee in, yeah, and gets to a regard.
Gotta fold some leg entrances into that, because like this is such a good position for Cole with that knee, that if he with, let's see, he gets his left knee in, so he could immediately attack like an Arimiashi on Joe's right leg, right? If he manages to get this leg to it, well, he doesn't need that leg to an outside position. He just needs the knee across and then the heel up and over meeting the knee.
Yeah, he needs his left knee in between Joe's legs.
Yeah.
In order to get to the Arimiashi.
Yeah, it seemed, Steven, it seemed like you were, I mean, just knowing from grappling with you this long now, like a lot of your mount escapes are built around like really powerful bridges, putting me off balance and then working with the space you create from there. And it seemed like you weren't really able to do that as much, which is totally understandable. Right. Matt and Q-Tip. Watch me kick Caleb's ankles out from underneath him repeatedly. Actually, I had a few different takedowns with Caleb. It was like, I think I snapped him down really hard at one point. My first takedown may have actually been a single. Let's look at Matt's sweep here. So yeah, that's like what Matt just did to Cole is something that, Cole was in position for, or is often in position for, but just blocking the elbow, collar tie, simple sweep, right? Little hook sweep. Is that Austin and Steven? See, I tried to go for like a sweep single on Caleb, and he turned the corner as I went in, but I just kept a hand on the ankle long enough to get it away. Kind of more turned into like an ankle pick, since I wasn't really like sweeping along the mat, and then just kept it. And I tried to finish an inside trip, but he didn't let me. Did Matt just like fly around Cole's guard? Yeah. Matt's knee cut reminds me a lot of like Gary Tonon's. If you've ever seen him hit those live, he doesn't hesitate. It's just he's gonna blast by. You're not gonna catch his ankle, and you better hope like you're not curled up with your face in the way, or like if you're framing far away, because it's coming through. Like there's very little that's gonna stop that. And that's how you should do them. You really gotta like explode through them. James has a nice triangle on Duncan over here by the pillar. Really good setup. You could tell, I feel like he was really hunting for that. From here, wrist control immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps it far enough away from the body, knowing that if he can pull his right knee up, he'll slip it right over the shoulder. It'd be in a very good spot.
That's a tight setup.
Excellent angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Matt was headhunting.
Oh, on
for
Cole.
Sure. Well, he got Cole with a when he did that knee cut, he got him with a guillotine. And then now they just reset, and he's going for the same thing. He's very heavy on the head.
Oh, Matt finished the guillotine?
He did. Yep.
think this is where I kicked Caleb's ankle out. Matt with a nice mounted triangle setup. Lot going on right now. Don't know who to look at. Austin's got a good triangle thread on Steven up top.
South choke from James.
Yeah, working some miserable pressure.
You had a snap down on Caleb.
Yeah. How did Cole handle this mounted triangle? Or more of an S mount, I guess, because it didn't really get to the triangle.
Yeah, he kept his arm in, and then he is extending his arms away in order to get back into a safer position. Not a great position, but better than being triangled.
Yeah, it looks like Matt opted to establish his base.
Cole, I'd really like, if you're watching this, I'd really like to see your hands more on the hips. You can see that he's exploiting your movements with your arms. Do you see how Matt is? He's welcoming the turning, okay? And that's because he has a very good bite right now, a wrist grip on your right arm here. And then as soon as you start turning one way or the other, all he's trying to do is pass elbows back and forth, so he can probably set up his armbar, right? Like, he's got a very good armbar for mount. But here, he's passing, going around.
Got back exposure.
Yeah, he's got back exposure. He's got all sorts of stuff. But he really likes hunting for that arm.
He was nailing some really great arm bars from the back on me during our positional sparring. Mm-hmm. Just a real smooth transitions right to the arm bar. Working to get that elbow nice and high, get the arm isolated.
James has Duncan's back right now. It looks like maybe a seatbelt grip.
Oh,
breaking
no,
down from Turtle.
Austin got his skinny neck strangled with a katagatame. From a cripple, no less. Jeez, how embarrassing. Charity work.
We have Caleb's back.
Yeah, Caleb and I spent a lot of time here burning my arms out. He had some solid defense, and he was staying squared up on me. And I think due to the height difference, it's not as sure of a thing for me to open up my legs, get like that kind of crab ride position behind his legs and extend them and like break him back down to a hip. So I kind of opt to just try to work from there with him as best I can. Normally that involves some friendly cross-facing and trying to open up the neck that way.
And you're crossing your feet up by the belly, right? Like, so
yeah.
I think for me, I generally put my feet on his hips to push myself up higher on him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And but yeah, I could see why. I mean, and that's, I think, why you're locking up so high, is just so you don't slide down the hips and lose the strangle.
Yeah, I also don't want to get my head too high past his head, if I start riding my hips up too high, it's gonna be hard. I felt like I had something close there, but it wasn't under the chin. So it was time to move to something else.
And Matt caught Cole in something else, and I think he probably finished the arm or something like that. It was before
he like doubled him off the screen. It looked like he came up on this and then drove through him. I think they reset. Yeah.
No, before this,
oh.
They had a finish there. I think he got him with an Ezekiel. He likes the no-gi Ezekiel from the top, from mount position.
Oh, dirty.
So he passes, his left arm across in front.
I like what he did here with this half guard switcheroo he pulls, right? So get from bottom half guard, wins the underhook battle. I'm gonna slow this down. Right, he wins this underhook battle in like a fashion that would make Tom DeBlas proud, right? He's got his knee shield up. He extends his knee shield and gets his underhook at the same time. Tries to come up on the knee, or I'm sorry, tries to roll through. Cole bases out, so he rolls back to it and comes out on top. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He heists up from there because Cole had the whizzer. Okay. So just like being able to switch from one strategy to the next, it's really, really good. Great example of that. Let's move. Yeah, I think we're like right here. Steven making his way around.
Go for the arm.
Opting to control the legs. Nice. Right at the bell, man. Austin, you should have let it break, man. I'm just kidding. Never do that. Go watch me get wrestled to death by James.
It's not uncommon.
Man, we still have like half an hour of footage. Everybody complaining about the Sunday stream being too short.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, like I think after we signed off, Caleb was like, "Man, I just logged on 2 minutes ago. It's so short." Brooke was complaining. That was from a Tuesday class anyway, so I think everybody goes pretty hard on Mondays, and then they're lazy and they can't handle a second day of going hard. So the open mats tend to be a little lighter. So let's look at this knee here. I'm gonna just assume Caleb was being cautious with this, right? Because Steven gets a good, he's got heel exposure way early, which is really, really good. So
and a very deep grip. His grip is very deep.
Yeah, and notice from here he has no control over the hips with the legs, but he's got 2-on-1 on the leg, just above the knee too, to like, I think try to help extend it and get his legs into place.
Yep.
When did he make the switch on the ankle grip? Right. So he gets
as
the knee.
As he pulls the knee through.
Oh, yeah. Caleb kind of slipped it out, it looked like. But then now he's got both legs locked up in that triangle. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm curious about is Caleb's knee is out, right? But his other leg is trapped in there. Right? Like, I mean, maybe he'd be able to slip his secondary leg out, but Steven may just have enough torque on it and enough control over both of those legs with that leg configuration that it was good enough to do, right? Or good enough to finish.
Well, so yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think number one, the way, like, maybe Caleb tapped a little early here, but the way that that Steven has his ankle or his legs crossed, right? He could hip in to that knee and pull back with his heels pretty easily. Yeah. The second thing that I really like about it, actually more the primary thing that I really like, is this butterfly grip that he has on the ankle. That's very difficult to slip. once you have that locked in. So I really like that. I think he's a little low on the leg, right? I think Steven could be deeper down into the leg, like closer towards Caleb's hips for the finish here.
Well, yeah,
but ultimately it's good.
That's what I was saying. But Steven even chimed in here. He said his other leg was helping me control his knee line. So Caleb's knee slipped Steven's knee line here, but because his second foot is trapped in this whole thing, it's like another little extra wedge in there that keeps him from extracting that leg at that point. He can't push off the butt or like running man escape. Can't, probably a lot harder to maneuver with that second leg still caught in there. And at that point, even with the knee line or with the knee out of the knee line, he may have had enough. Seems like he had enough torque on it to make Caleb want to tap. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Weird little configuration. But yeah, I didn't even notice the grip. That was a good call and good move, Steven. Does watching the stream, Brooke, make you miss Mooresville and the competitive nature of the school over your wherever you're training now? There's only one right answer to that question. So yeah, with James this whole time, like I was doing my best to shut down any sort of front headlock that he could set up, but that was about all I can do. He was doing a remarkable job of keeping like a lot of pressure on me. Anytime I tried to get my hips underneath to either sit to guard or even think about trying to sit out, he was moving and making it very difficult. And I mean, you guys know how much I like to capture legs, and even here it was like I just couldn't manage to get to a spot. I think maybe I do it once in like the middle of the roll. But I mean, look at how much you could tell just how much he's like leaning into me, putting me on my back, pinning my shoulders.
He distributes his weight really well in that. Like, yeah, you're not gonna turn him over unless he makes a huge movement in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Caleb looked like he had a
all right, shoulder crunch.
Yeah. Starting to isolate the arm. Yeah, so I managed to get my guard back for a little bit. Right to it. Nice. So yeah, if you're gonna unlock your guard, your closed guard against a standing opponent, you cannot leave your legs behind under any circumstance. They will get straight ankled by someone astute, right? When you do open your legs, a great option to move to is a leg entrance, right? If they've postured up, they're standing upright, which I will continually tell you guys to do. The downside of that is you leave your legs wide open for a leg entrance. Doesn't mean you can't counter that when the time comes. But if you open your legs up, if you open your ankles as the guy on his back, it just leaves you, ready to get subbed just like that. Caleb. Look how,
James.
Yeah, look how quick he just knee slides right out of that. It pissed me off when he did that. It's like, gotcha. Nope.
One thing I'm not seeing, and maybe you didn't feel safe trying to do it, James, is go behinds. I know Matt is really big on. It looks like you're hunting for the Darce and or anacondas, pretty heavy here. I just know from training with Matt for all these years that it's a sometimes a fruitless battle when I try to go for the front headlock. The go behinds are going to be, I think, the next thing in your arsenal. Is either hitting a go behind to go straight for a back take, or even coming around to the side and bumping him down to take side control and working top position from there.
I think where I maybe was stymieing him with that, and this is something like this doesn't disqualify you from being able to do it, but when I've got like that 2-on-1 grip, just trying to play safe and tight, and yeah, I could beat his hands in the front headlock. Like it's easy to tell like what the strangle arm's gonna be typically. So going 2-on-1 and I'm kind of stalling there, like as I'm trying to either sit out or get my guard back. When I have that 2-on-1 position though, it's gonna limit you to a side to try to get behind, right? So if you play really well, going around to your right, but I've captured your right hand, you don't really have the chance to go to that side anymore, right? You can't reach over for a tight waist and then cut your angle. Same on the left side. And if I think you're going to, maybe you're favoring one side, and I think, oh, I'm vulnerable, he's about to flank me, I could go 2-on-1 on that corresponding arm, and it's going to make it difficult for you to secure me. So it's a way for me to, again, I feel like it's kind of stalling. I don't like doing it, but you were just being a real pain in the ass, and I couldn't, I couldn't like regard or anything. So just trying to keep my neck safe.
I think you're keeping your neck safe, and you're also hedging your bets. You also know that by going to that 2-on-1, that it forces them to the flanking position, so you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I wouldn't say it's stalling. It's more or less just putting James in a position to where he has to make a certain movement that he doesn't necessarily want to make.
Right.
So how did he get past the guard there? Was it a knee cut across?
So we had gone to an open guard position.
It's pinning your knee.
Just slowly dismantling my my frames.
Oh, and you're going. Oh, that's what happened. You're going for a Kimura on that side.
I think I was just trying to invert, actually, because I didn't have his arm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I had no real control over his arm at any point. A good little hip switch. Look at Steven being merciful on Caleb's ankle right here. It's like, nah, I already did that once. I'll just let that one go. How does that make you feel about yourself, man? That was a slick little counter, Caleb. Look at what he did here. So he goes for this like leg weave right from De La Hiva.
Yep.
Steven gets his base out, attacks that leg, and then Caleb just yanks that leg.
Pops him over. Yeah.
With the ankle pick. That was
slick. Yeah, that was nice.
Do you see that?
No. Did he muffle him?
No, better.
Oh. Oh, sweet. Yes. Nice. He said tap. Did you see that?
I'm going to give it to him. I'll allow it. Wait.
Oh, I like that transition. That was nice. He passed, and then he cowboys over.
Who did that?
Caleb, at the very end.
Oh.
I know they were in a weird spot, but he goes over and then right back.
time. Thank God. I was happy for that round to be over. Only to get paired up with Joe.
Yeah.
I think I opened this with a foot sweep, actually. Yeah. Who's Caleb going with? Is that James? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's start speeding this up a bit. Got the ankle bros going.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I feel like James smoked me and then took it easy on Caleb. Turn my limp into more of a pimp glide. Says the married guy.
Yeah. Was that a triangle?
What was that with Steven and Brandon? Yeah, a little rear triangle. I think.
You can't tell.
So
reverse.
It's like a wrong way rear triangle, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Unless it was shoulder. Yeah, if it was more of a shoulder attack, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. That was some good improvisation there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Joe, as I recall from this match, did a great job, like you see here, like just with framing, and like anytime I was up in north-south, he was making it. Oh, I wanted to point this out. This really, really great like awareness here, and I complimented him on it right when it happened because it was just like perfectly timed and extremely simple. It was just, look at where my hips are. Over, just like over my butt. Over my foot, my right foot here. Kind of lean back. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he just gives me a nice shove that gets me right off balance, right into this leg entanglement.
Yep.
And I was just like, damn, what the hell just happened? Like it was a really, really really good moment of awareness that he had, just to give me a little push, and it put me in a really vulnerable spot.
Yeah, he had the makings of a cross ashi position too.
Yep. So yeah, and that was just a same side snap down. So elevated just to get my shoulder up. Got the basketball in the hoop. I hit the guillotine.
And he did the side crunch for the finish.
Yeah.
Caleb and James are having a good match back there.
Yeah.
Regarding mat returns, they're solid.
Caught the squirrel and he bit me. And like, so right here at the end, this was I saw an opportunity here, and I can't say I've got a good basis of experience for using it, but look how I captured Joe's left ankle, and I pull it into, and what I was looking to do was drive my head into him this way and sit him to his butt, but yep. I think his kickstand out here was making it really difficult. But I also didn't want to like rip on it because the knee's not in a terrible position, but I felt like I was putting a lot of torque on it. But yeah, I don't know if it just seemed like an idea at the time. I can't say it was good or bad.
It's a from what I've seen, I was actually just watching something on it today. It is a wrestling technique.
Yeah.
To where you reach, basically like how you had called out Caleb earlier on going through the far leg. This would be a near leg grab, and then taking your head outside and driving back. You end up in like that cradle type position. You can also forward roll through it if they're really, really heavy on your head.
Oh,
and
okay.
You in the same position. It depends.
That makes sense.
I'd like to ask Mitch about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to like rip on Joe's knee on that just because I wasn't sure what I could get away with in that position. I didn't want to find out anything bad. Mango King, what's going on? Good evening.
Good evening.
So Joe's doing the best he can with Caleb having not pointed his knees away from him on that pass. Immediately trying to re-guard. This is why I don't let Caleb have top position on me anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. I mean, it's almost like I pulled your knee into that like sitting, Indian style position, but I didn't want you to like resist in a certain way or like me to pull too hard. All right, man, cool. What's
Right on.
I'm glad you're getting past an injury, man. What was it? What put you out?
Was it jiu-jitsu related or outside? Got the Darce set up. Skateboarding. I see.
Oh,
I
damn.
can only see part of the chat.
That sucks.
Damn, that does suck.
How long were you out? Did you have to like get it repaired or you just kind of free balling now with a knee with no ACL? Which I know some people can do, but like I don't know if that'd be a good idea in jiu-jitsu.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's good, man.
Right on.
Dude, I'm back on the mat after a layoff myself. Like, just take your recovery seriously. And as fun as jiu-jitsu is, let yourself heal. Don't hurt yourself again. Where do you train out of? Give your school a shout out. So what happened to that Darce? I guess Joe just defended it well. Yeah.
Power. Shoulder power.
Shoulder power, man.
That's it.
Oh, Jean-Jacques affiliate.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
I figured since you said your class is about an hour, you must be out west somewhere.
Oh, good call. I didn't see the time.
So Austin and I are locked in a cross-ashi battle that I was not going to give up, because I wanted to refocus my positioning here after a few weeks ago when I had you in cross-ashi. We were talking about it on stream, and like my head was just so far away from your hip that you basically just sat up and put me over. So every time through this, like where I was like, all right, I don't have the leg, he's coming up, I would, like here I'm framing, I'm trying to get back up, get my head closer to his hips vertically, and then start digging for the arm from there. So making a real focused effort and not losing this battle just by being like pushed over,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mango King, we do this every Wednesday where we showcase the open mats from our school and talk over it and answer questions. Talk shit to our students, let them do the same to us. So come back, man. And we do it Sundays too, for gi if you're into that sort of thing. Wait, I thought I ended up getting that heel hook, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, okay, cool. Good.
You
Good.
inside heel hook the white belt. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm all about it. But to Austin's credit, after this roll, we talked about, knowing which way to escape, knowing which way to roll, all that good stuff. So he's going to get much more difficult to heel hook. Mango, do you know of any other pages who do anything like this? I've come across one page out of a school in Brazil that like I think they just broadcast their open mats, but they don't do like commentary or anything over it. But I haven't seen much on Twitch. And then Facility BJJ, but I think he mostly plays video games these days. I haven't seen much rolling footage on his page. Yeah, no, I don't want any of our white belts rolling the wrong way out of a heel hook.
We try to go over that in our school in terms of we do teach heel hooks at white belt just for that purpose, so that in the event that they're training with somebody and the grip gets hooked up, that we don't roll in the wrong direction.
Yeah. I'm always ready to bail on that grip anyway.
Yep.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'll look them up. It's definitely something like people need to do more of. I hadn't seen anybody else. I didn't think we were the first ones, but I just couldn't find anybody else who's been doing anything like this. So it's good to know there are others out there. I'll have to reach out. Yeah, we're going over a little bit of like what happens when you roll, transitions, all that stuff.
Dude, Joe, that was I could see your mind going there. Like this was perfect.
Yeah.
To set up right now you had an inverted or a reverse X guard set up very easily here. It was pretty awesome. And then you went to go and switch, and I could tell you were like, I don't know where to put my feet.
Yeah.
And then you went for the single leg X, and which is completely acceptable, right? Like, this is awesome. It's just good that you're messing around in open mat with these leg entrances. So
yeah.
And you find your way right into a Rumiashi. That's awesome.
Joe, remind either Mike or I at the next open mat that we're all at to go over like 2 different leg entrances from there. Like we don't need to do a lot, but yeah, you're right. Like he was right there on 2 really good good entrances, either to cross or to a standard ashi.
Yeah.
I'll follow some MMA streamers though. That'd be cool. I saw Jens Pulver, who I don't know if you guys know him, but he was like back in the day, fought for the WEC before the UFC bought them, and then fought in the UFC I think lightweight, maybe featherweight. I caught him streaming some live broadcasted sumo matches that he was talking about, or he was going over. He's obviously not like a sumo aficionado, but that was pretty cool to watch. That was like classic. I forgot they were on that together. Slick little armbar transition from close guard.
Yeah, 2-on-1 on that arm. Cuts the angle.
Very nice.
Nice.
Is he really? I need to follow him. I came across that like maybe a month or 2 ago. Let's speed this up again. How do I explain it to my friends who don't do it? If they're asking me seriously, it's a long-winded answer. But if I'm in a smart-ass mood, I say like involuntary yoga, or combat yoga. I don't know. What would you say?
I normally tell people it's like the stuff that it's like wrestling. I equate it to wrestling. Most people understand wrestling, like high school wrestling. Actually, I think I specify it, not like WWE. Even though if you train with Mitch, it is like WWE. But you know.
Oh, look at that. That's just mean. So, one thing you could do here, whenever, like typically when someone's got a toe hold on you, your free leg can help to mitigate that risk. So if your free leg finds your ankle that's under attack and just kind of kick his hands off of you, try to extend your ankle, just be very careful not to let him attack the knee of the other leg that's coming in for help. Yeah, it looked like he couldn't even really get a turn on it. Fight Club, but everyone won't stop talking about it. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's true.
Mexican ground karate, yes. I felt his shit crunching. He says you don't got it. That's just that go ruck mentality, man.
I call it stretching rather than crunching.
Then it looks like on the arm in guillotine here. Okay, cool.
That looked tight.
It's like, you don't got it, but I'm gonna tap anyway. Mango, have you gotten to train with Jean-Jacques before, or at least like take seminars from him or anything? It's like Steven's taint. He didn't. Steven listens to his taint. Quickest way to Steven's brain is through his taint. Zip ahead here. All right, what happens? That was an interesting form of like what looked like a waiter sweep. Well, didn't look like a waiter sweep, but kind of the mechanics of one. You see that?
Yeah, both legs over the same leg.
Just flying up through it. Right, and conceivably that could end up with a guard pass, but Steven shrimped his butt away and managed to keep his knees in.
Yeah, I mean, technically, Steven had a look at the back there.
Yeah,
potentially. So you trained at an affiliate gym? Is that right, Mango King? Not at the one that Jean-Jacques teaches at.
Man, you're in a good spot out there. Like,
yeah,
Cali being one of the two meccas of jiu-jitsu. Or I guess Southern California. I was mad jealous when you got to train over at a Victory. Like,
yeah,
that was like three or 4 years ago now.
Yeah, that was fun. Nice people out there.
Look at this snap down. I think he said, like, I don't know. He was like, your foot's strong or something like that, or your leg's strong. I was like, so's the rest of me. Like, ripped him down.
That's
Joe,
awesome, man.
You've been getting swept like how you did to Steven? Because I've never seen anybody in the world do that sweep.
Let me see it. All right, can you rewind it?
I
missed it.
I'm not sure if he's talking about this one that he's going over, or the one that he did that was like a weird waiter sweep. Talking about
the one with the two legs over the one leg.
Yeah, this
Joe?
one. Man, even in like regular speed.
End of the round.
Oh, okay. Oh, like that.
Oh, there. Yeah. So that's a scissor sweep. That's essentially a scissor sweep. Really, because Steven's right knee has a knee shield, and he's kicking it through, and then he's collapsing your right leg down with his left leg. So this is a scissor sweep, if this is the one that you're talking about. And I would say that as basic as this sweep is, I still get swept with this. I still sweep a lot of people with this sweep.
Yeah.
So I don't care how basic it is. It's basic and good for a reason. If this is one that you're getting swept with, obviously it's just kind of like an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure type of a thing, right? Like you have to make sure that you don't end up in this type of position, because it is a very strong sweep.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And all the mechanics of like the fundamental scissor sweep are the same here, right? The biggest difference is like Steven's bottom leg position, and I would say the bottom, we'll call it the bottom arm position too, because normally when you hit a scissor sweep, the side that you're sweeping to has an overhook. Steven has an underhook on this side, but it's enough to keep you from basing too far out, and then you obviously can't extend your well, if your hips are heavy, you can't extend your right leg right now, which is, you know, your lower half base, right? So that leg up in the armpit is very, like, that's you know, part of a standard scissor sweep anyway, so that's what gets you off balance. Collar tie, just a little cherry on top. So it's like what Mike just said, like the prevention for this is going to be, you know, your best bet. Like just recognizing the threat early on. Like right here, for example, if you're, it's hard to see your arm position. It's impossible to see your arm position on your left arm right now. But if your elbow was inside his hip and you had a hand on the hip and kind of like framing, extending away, you may have been able to prevent Steven from turning to the angle he needed. Preventing Steven from getting really an overhook, but even that like annoying little underhook he ended up getting. That was the other key piece, right? Once he takes that base away, you're done. So it's gonna come to recognizing, where your vulnerabilities are with that. I hope that helps.
Yeah. I guess I don't want to belabor it too much, but I just had a thought about, can you go back to where he had stepped into the guard?
Yeah.
So right here, you do a really good job of doing that knee staple, right? And we talk a lot about this, right? That your right knee stapling Steven's left leg down, and this is good, okay? But the problem is that, like Matt said, you don't have an inside left arm position on the hip, right? Like inside of his knee and buried low. If you're able to take, if you think about really what you're trying to do there by getting that inside position, is you're trying to put weight on the weak side of Steven's guard. So Steven has a strong side and a weak side to his guard right now. His left hip is the strong side. His right hip is the weak side. So in order for you to maintain that knee staple, I think, and I could be speaking out a little too early here, I got to think about it a little bit more, but I'd like to see two things, one of two things. Number one, weight on Steven's right hand side, right? So you need to be pressuring down on the right side of Steven in order to get his hip flattened out. Or two, your left leg over top of his knee on the left side. So you need to be like over top, and again, putting weight onto the right hand side of Steven in order to be safe, because that's the only thing that'll prevent him from kicking you over in that position.
Yeah, if you can keep Steven flat on his back as opposed to working from the hip, that'll go a long way in preventing that sweep. Oh wait, we could see right at the finish. Yeah, okay, so your arm position, the arm that we couldn't see, it had this overhook, right? Mm-hmm. I'd rather see you working from inside. Like your elbow needs to be in here, not on the outside of his knee. I think that'll be one of the first easy things, quote unquote easy things you can work on with that.
Yeah, definitely don't feel bad about that one. The scissor sweep is still something that I think gets everybody at some point.
Remember, Caleb was on a tear with scissor sweeps like a month or two ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mango, I'm glad to hear you lucked out with the choice of schools. I'm sure you've heard plenty of horror stories, so it always feels good to find a good spot with a good culture and good coaches. It makes a huge difference. Sport's hard enough on your body. Like the worst thing is not wanting to like leave your car when you get into the parking lot because your instructor sucks or something. Got cross-collared by a 12-year-old. Was like, yeah. I think all of us have a story like that, you know.
Man, you're like, I just paid for this.
Yeah. And why do I want to keep doing this? Why do I really want to keep doing this?
But I'm so excited to come back tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like the people who do want to keep coming back have that story to tell, and the people who realize early on that it's not for them, they don't tell that story to anybody. Like,
yeah,
I got strangled by the smallest guy in the room, and they can't handle sharing that with people. I was super tired for this one. notice as soon as Caleb even thinks about going for my leg, I'm immediately applying a crossface.
Mm-hmm.
I don't wait around on it. You guys shouldn't either. Especially against someone who's got, much better reach against me. Let's see, when I go behind here.
He does what you did, or kind of like what you were trying to do with Joe.
Well, also, like what we were talking about with James, because, James spent a lot of time in this position against me, right? So here I've telegraphed that I'm going around to Caleb's right. He has he has a 2-on-1 on my right hand, which my left hand is perfectly free to reach up and grab a tight waist grip, right? So I'm confident that I can move to the back on that one. His hands aren't reaching up to block my hips. I know right where his hands are, and he's gripping the hand that I want to stay put. Like I want it left there because I want my left arm reaching over for the tight waist. If he had opted for a 2-on-1 on my left hand, there's no way I could have done this go behind, right? Like simply, for obvious reasons, I couldn't have gone behind there. So that's why I say, like, it's not, you call it stalling, or not, but it's really just trying to stymie your opponent's movement. And then I armbar him. Good, cool. I forgot about that.
Now we get to see how ripped Joe is.
It's bullshit. Just takes away from my sweeping Caleb's tired foot out from underneath him. And then the people's elbow just to finish it off. I don't know, if he turns around, if we see nipples, it's PG-13.
I think he's got abs on his back.
Yeah, Mango, same here, man. What kept me out of doing wrestling was the fact that there was a kid my size who had been wrestling since he was basically a fetus. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let him have that one. I'll go try weightlifting instead. But that was a stupid thing to do, because what I could have done was just learn wrestling from a really, really good wrestler who was my size. So, but fortunately, we've got some really great wrestlers at our school. One was a state champ back in 2016, high school state champ. Those muscles have muscles. Y'all need to stop ogling Joe. Can I fill this in? I don't know if I can make a. There we go.
There it is.
We're gonna block Joe here, so you guys don't watch him. Keep it G-rated, except for all the cursing. Joe's already got a thumb emote. I'm not giving him a muscle emote. If he breaks or dislocates anything else, we'll make an emote. Back to this takedown. So I really, really like how controlling Caleb was through this whole thing. I mean, like, look how high up the leg. He doesn't just have my leg. He has my entire hip. Right? And then reaches across for the knee tap. And there was nothing I could do. I wasn't getting my leg out of that one. I mean, even if I tried to, like, roll or anything, he was so far up the leg that my leg wasn't going to get free. And now it's onto the body lock, which I feel like Caleb's been using the body lock a lot lately. Maybe it's just against me, but it's been really effective.
No, it's been everybody.
Yeah.
Been doing the body lock.
Smash passing, I'm not super concerned with. Once you like learn to establish some really effective frames, and get comfortable inverting, that kind of old school smash pass approach is I don't want to say it's easily countered, but it's you find some good like leg lock entrances from there. You learn pretty quickly how to stay guarded, and that's when something like what Caleb's doing here, where rather than passing, effectively controlling the hips, pinning legs, or opening legs up, getting knees pointed in one direction, passing the opposite side. That's where I just think that's a much more effective passing approach. Now I can totally get smash passed. It's not like it doesn't work on anybody. But yeah, I opt for more control stuff than heavy passing these days. But that's my personal preference. Yeah, cool. Well, that wraps it up. That was a whole lot. Again, we're almost at 2 hours for an hour of footage. You guys are doing too much cool shit for me to skip through, which I appreciate. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Mango, thanks for joining us, man. It's always cool to get some new faces in here and chat jujitsu. So yeah, thank you, man, and thank you for the follow. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
And have fun at class. Don't go injuring yourself again, man. Take it slow.
Yeah, right.
It sucks when you can't do it. Yeah. I think we definitely compensated for last Sunday's stream. So cool. All right, guys. You know the deal. This will be up on YouTube. If you like what we're doing, you can follow us. You could subscribe. If you got a Twitch Prime, we would love to take money out of Jeff Bezos' pockets and put it in ours. So go ahead and subscribe with that. You get some fun emotes that I'm slowly building them. I know you guys wanted like a BAM old school Batman sound effect emote. I'll figure something out. And then there was another good idea. I can't remember what it was, but I think I wrote it down. I'm gonna make a thumbs down emote too, just because I want to like squeeze as much blood out of this dislocated thumb stone as we can. Also, because I'm running out of ideas. Anyway, you can catch it up on YouTube. You can support us at coffee.com/MOBJJ, or you can follow and or subscribe here. Otherwise, Mike, you'll be teaching tomorrow, right?
I'm on for tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Back. Good shit.
Hell yeah. So yeah, go trim your nails, do your laundry. Don't be stinky.
Don't be stinky.
Especially your geese. And we will see you guys Sunday. Wait. What is that? What face is that?
Twitch Global emote.
Oh, it's one of their dude, we're so old, like I don't know what any of this shit means. I'm gonna end the stream before I embarrass myself anymore. Take it easy, guys.
Later.